What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming. I'm your host, Andrew, and with me I have three people. Co-host number one is Alpha Stoutland.
What's up, guys?
Co-host number two is Apocalypso.
Yo!
And co-host number three is Nintice 2000.
Aloha!
And today, I know it's been forever since our last episode, where Apocalypso took over in the beginning.
Yeah.
I loved that, by the way.
Thank you.
Which was all Apocalypso's idea, and I loved it, so he gets credit for that. Sorry, I had to take a sip of coffee and forgot that I was recording.
It's pretty late for coffee, don't you think?
Never! So
gosh.
today is going to be a little special because we'll start off very briefly with what we've been up to, just very briefly, because our main attraction, focus, or whatever you want to call it, is our top 5 games of 2019. Or in Apocalypso's case, the top 5 games he played in 2019, because he said that he didn't really play many 2019 games. Same with Alpha, you said it's a little bit of a mix. So in general, I guess the top 5 games we played in 2019, but we'll probably, for some of us, consistent games from 2019. I don't know, but I guess we all have our own personal rules we can state before we start the list. But anyway, before we jump into that, just really quick, what has everyone been up to? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever you celebrate. And how was everybody's previous month or two? Or
A blur.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I'm just happy I'm finally on vacation from online college because we only get one break all year.
Anybody get anything good for the holidays? Any good gifts that they're planning on playing? If any games or anything?
I got a Rick Astley CD.
And you're never going to give it up, are you?
No.
Probably
Oh
not.
my god!
It was an album from 2016. It was his return to music since the 90s.
Oh, snap.
Oh, wow.
And you think it's because of the meme that he decided to come back?
Maybe because he finally became less cynical about the music industry. That's the reason he left in the 90s, because he realized how fake the music industry is. And that, somebody else writes all the songs and, he performs them, and, basically how it works is somebody else writes the songs, you perform it without very much input at all, and then you have very little leeway in the process, and he realized that, and then he quit music for like a decade, for like 20 years, because of how cynical he became about it.
So, the only thing I could think of past month was a new game came out. Actually, it came out in September, but I had it on my radar and on and off, and then I just started playing it in the past month, called Blasphemous. And it's kind of like a Metroidvania, side-scrolling Dark Souls, and it's pretty neat. And it's pretty cool and pretty hard. Anybody else play anything? Just like real quick description of it or anything?
Well,
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I've been playing Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, which is a PC version that came out in 2004, but I'm playing on a fan server because all the officials down years ago. So, and I never actually played it online when I played it on the GameCube.
Is it PC you're playing it on?
Yeah, I'm playing on PC.
Okay.
And it's
Neat.
also free. So
Sweet. Is it official?
I mean, the official the PC version was officially released,
Okay.
but
Sweet.
the server is a fan server.
Oh, that's cool. How about you, Alpha, or you, Nintice? You do anything recently?
Well,
Worth
my
mentioning?
birthday was actually 3 days before Christmas. My birthday's the 22nd.
Happy belated.
And then thank you. And then it's cool because my birthday is the 22nd, my dad's was the 23rd, and my grandpa's was the 24th. So it's like son, all in order. It's great.
Jesus was the 25th.
Exactly. Well, technically, he wasn't actually probably born on the moon, but you know that. But yeah,
but it was
it's like he's probably born in the summer. But hey,
actually, the 25th.
We observed
is
the
his
birthday.
The 25th is his birthday celebration.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's arguable. The date is arguable, but that is the date of celebration. So there you go.
But
That
yeah,
we could agree
had a good birthday, had a good Christmas. Went to Red Lobster and Cold Stone for my birthday. That was great. Cold Stone Creamery, oh my goodness. And then we were actually going to go to a Japanese place called Nakado in Myrtle Beach, and they burned in their kitchen or something. And so little did we know they were closed for the whole month of December trying to renovate it. And I was like, oh, well, I'm bummed. And so Red Lobster was literally like less than a half a mile down the street. And I was like, oh, let's go there. So we had lobster and crab legs and Cheddar Bay biscuits. Oh my gosh. So we had that, and then I got Spyro Reignited for my birthday. So that's like the only game I really asked for. But I did get a few movies. I've never seen Alita Battle Angel, so I'm excited to see that. And I got Detective Pikachu and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I've seen both of those and I love them both. Spider-Verse is so good. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's so good.
Real quick, the Battle Angel Alita movie. I had heard of the manga a long time ago. Back in the day, the only way to read it was to find the book in bookstores because the internet wasn't as wonderful as it is right now.
Yeah.
So you couldn't find books digitally and whatnot. So it was a manga I was always interested in checking out. And then when the movie came out, I saw the movie and I loved the movie that it got me into the manga. So now I'm like in the sequel manga. There's like three. There's Battle Angel Alita, Battle Angel Alita, Last Order, and then Battle Angel Alita Mars Chronicle. So I'm in Last Order. I'm in the second series right now, and I've been reading it on and off because I'm like behind on other stuff too. So
cool. But
I ain't no anime fan, but I love Alita Battle Angel. It's amazing.
My friend Ethan would not shut up about it. He said, "Dude, it's such a good movie. It's so good." I was like, "Okay, I'll watch it."
They did take some liberties to adjust some things here and there, but it's still fine. It's still really good. I think it's still a almost spot-on adaptation of like the first major arc, with a couple of minor differences here and there, but I see it as its own standalone adaptation, called an alternate universe, if you will. That's what I do with adaptations, like Marvel and Ultimate Marvel comics. You know, they're two different like universes. That's how I picture adaptations. But what were you saying?
So about me or him?
I don't know, whoever. I think I interrupted someone, and I apologize for that.
But besides that, I did get Danny Phantom, the complete series, on DVD as well. I was hoping for that, so that's still one of the best Nicktoons in my opinion. And I also got The Munsters, if you've ever heard of that. It's an old, I think, 60s show. I love Andy Griffith and Gilligan's Island and The Munsters and all those older shows, and so I'm psyched about that. So yeah, I was born and raised on Andy Griffith and SpongeBob and stuff like that. So it's just, I have a very diverse television history. If it's cool, I'll watch it. So for the most part, I'm very picky about like primetime stuff. But anyway, topic for a not gaming podcast. I did get a couple of games on Black Friday for sale. I finally got Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. Sweet. By recommendation of a certain Mint Ice 2000, I got the Gunvolt Striker 2-pack, so I'm going to try that out. And then I got, what other game did I get? Shoot, I got this little 49-cent game called Monster Bugs Eat People, so I'm interested to see if, I've already played it, and it was kind of trash. It was fun, but it was kind of trash. And then, what was the fourth and final game I got? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh. Well, I got Pokemon Sword, obviously, and I've been playing the heck out of that. Oh, what was the last game? Okay, I will skip it. It obviously isn't too important if I forgot it. But
that was my philosophy on choosing my top 5 games. If I can't remember it, then it's probably not my top 5 list.
Yeah. But yeah, besides games and stuff, obviously Christmas, Thanksgiving, my birthday, it's all just been a blur. With Christmas plays and Christmas cantatas and stuff at church and stuff. It's just been a busy last 2 months, but it's been a good last 2 months. My sister and my brother-in-law are actually down for the weekend, and so we've been spending time together and stuff. And so it's just been a good time of just getting together with family, eating good food, just celebrating the holidays. So It's been a good time.
Nice.
And I can't wait to play Spyro and Ori and all those games in the new year. So, and maybe it'll be on next year's top 5.
I got a Nintendo eShop card for $20 for Christmas,
Hey.
and I'm thinking of using part of it. I'm thinking of using it to get Assassin's Creed 3 on the Switch.
Oh, yes.
I know you said that you had your eye on that one. You were like, I am getting this game on Twitter.
Oh, that was a different Assassin's Creed game, but my brother recommended the third one. So.
Okay.
And I actually got into. I mean, my brother told me about what Assassin's Creed was, and I was interested because I love history, thanks to a certain RTS series. And and
Age of Empires.
Yes, and so that I actually like history now, so that kind of made me interested in Assassin's Creed. And then I have a Smash Brainstorm blog on that one site I use, where I did a brainstorm for Ezio.
Ooh.
Nice.
And then I also did, and then sometime later I did a stage which involved looking up at least one music track for each mainline Assassin's Creed game. So that kind of made me a little more interested in the series because I had to do research because for his Final Smash I wanted to have a lot of different Master Assassins, so I had to look on the wiki and research, and it made me a little more interested in the series, so I'm thinking of actually getting into it.
Okay. That's one series I've never gotten into, but it looks really cool.
That just reminded me I have another game to add to my list of 2019 games.
You're welcome.
So it's been about 15 minutes. I'd like to jump into the top 5.
We do need to
have between 45 minutes and an hour, like a max.
We need to give Gabe his chance, or Nit his chance.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Chance for what?
To talk what you've been up to.
Just playing, my Christmas games. Building a big Lego set that I got.
Ooh.
I used to be in the Legos, but I'm not anymore.
You're in your Lego Dark Age. Funnily enough, 2019 was the year I got out of my Lego Dark Age, mainly thanks to the Unikitty cartoon and the hype for Lego Movie 2.
I still need to see the second part, man. I've wanted to see it for a while, and I just haven't yet. The first...
Universal took the license, actually.
Huh?
Warner Bros. Isn't making movies anymore. Now Universal has the Lego Movie rights.
Oh.
Warner Brothers isn't making movies?
No, they're not
Not
making Lego movies anymore.
Oh, they're not making movies. Okay.
Oh.
I was gonna say, if they weren't making any movies at all, I would have heard about it.
Also, real quick, since it's gaming related and Lego related, have y'all seen the trailer for the Skywalker Saga Lego Star Wars game?
I cannot wait.
Yo, it looks good.
I played Lego Star Wars 2 when I was little, and I loved that game a lot.
Yes.
I cannot wait to play those levels again. And I really hope that in the Skywalker Saga, they bring back the hilarious feature where if you hit someone or your CPU character in the cantina, suddenly all the CPUs start fighting each other, and it becomes a battle royale.
Yeah. Those were great games. They really were.
It's like a bar fight.
Yeah.
It was especially funny when Palpatine and Yoda were there, and Han Solo, because he shoots his gun really fast.
Yeah. And then Yoda's like, because of the sound.
I might pick it up, but I kind of lost hope in Disney Star Wars ages ago. So.
Oh yeah, I've heard Rise of Skywalker was good. I've also heard it was meh. But I mean, hey, you got to see it for yourself. So.
I love Rise of Skywalker personally. I really, kind of like when I read the reviews for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I got pretty sad hearing all the negativity behind it, but when I watched Rise of Skywalker, I absolutely loved it.
Okay.
I had a good experience too, because when the title screen showed up, the audience clapped, and when it ended, the people clapped, and during certain scenes, people clapped as well. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that loved it.
Cool.
My brother loved it too. So.
Nice. So, anybody want to say anything else before we jump into top 5 games?
I'm good.
All right. Now, the one thing about top 5 games is if any of our games overlap, instead of like if like for example, if I say my top 5 game is Game. That's just the title I'm using. And let's say Alpha's number 5 game is also Game. Whatever game is, it's just the example. Rather than say that's also my number 5, we'll just discuss it, and then when we get to Alpha, he could say it too, and we could add on any other thoughts as well if we want. This way we don't have to repeat ourselves, I guess. Or does anyone else have an alternative idea of that approach?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. So the order we're going in is the order I typically list the order of the people in the episodes, which is typically who's been on the longest, or like who came on, what order they've come in. It's just been easy for me to keep track of orders that way. So the order we're gonna go is me, Alpha, Apocalypso, Nint Ice, and everybody seems fine with that. So, alrighty, so let's jump into it. My number 5 game is drumroll. That's a bad drumroll. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Well, I've only played.
That is also mine.
Gee, you just went against the rule we just set, but okay.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said we like chime into. I'm sorry.
No,
okay,
you know
go ahead.
It's okay. You can do that. There's no like strict rules with this, I guess.
No, we must go in order.
But I put it as my number 5 because it was good enough to get in my number 5, but I even questioned if I wanted to put it in my number 5, and it didn't have. It really didn't stand out as much as past Pokemon games, I feel like. It did some cool things. Dynamax is cool, but you can't do it in every battle, so it makes it like a super gimmicky gimmick. It did take things away that I loved. I can no longer Mega Evolve certain Pokemon that I really like. I can't use certain Pokemon that I really like. And this generation, there was only like a couple of Pokemon design. I mean, this is opinion. But then again, the whole concept of the top 5 games is all opinion anyway. So don't take any of this as hard fact, but my personal opinion was that the new Pokemon in this generation were not that appealing to me. There was a couple that I liked, and I tried to use them on my team, and other than that, I was like, I don't really care. The story was very lackluster, probably the most lacking of all the stories. The evil team was not even evil. They were just even less evil than Team Skull. They were just, hey, we want to stop you from advancing. And the team leader, they never even specifically say is the team leader, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's underwhelming. It's like a lot of the game is underwhelming, I feel like. But then again, it is fun, and it's Pokemon, and I enjoyed the things that they brought to it. The music was really good, especially the gym battles. I thought they were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So good. You know, the good things they brought to that game were really good. The things they took away were unfortunate. So I have mixed feelings about the game. I hate the difficulty of getting a hold of Gigantamax Pokemon in the wild area.
Yeah.
It seems like it's so difficult. What's the point? Like, I actually have to rely on using the glitches just to encounter them. And then, like, they won't even... I can't even catch them, so I have to rely on the glitches to hopefully catch them, because you throw the Pokeball, they escape, that's it. You don't get a second chance.
You do know if you save in front of the den,
yes,
it works. You can rebattle them. Yeah.
I said glitch, but that's not a glitch. That's true. But also the fact that some of the Pokemon are so difficult that you need to team up with people online to catch them. You have to rely on other people just so you can catch a Pokemon you want.
Because the CPUs are trash.
Terrible.
Interesting you say that, because
Literal
I actually have a similar complaint. In my top 10 or 5, I actually have a similar complaint with one of my games. Although it's it's minor compared to yours, but I have a similar complaint to you, which I'll get to that obviously when it's my turn.
Other than that, the characters, I liked the characters. Usually I don't like the rivals, outside of the first couple of generation rivals. Hop was more of a friend than a rival, just like Hal, but Hop was, I feel like he was a lot more enjoyable as a rival, and I was actually rooting for him. Like, I felt his pain, you know, in certain scenarios, and Bede made for a good asshole rival, or whatever you want to call it, you know. So you had, because of the way the story was written, where everyone was sort of competing against each other to become the champion, it was set up like a game where everybody goes from stadium to stadium to get their badge, and by the end they all have to compete against each other in a tournament. That was a nice, neat thing that they added. So everyone competing was your rival. So they made some of your rivals a bit more, I guess, important. I thought some characters would play a bigger role that they didn't, which was a similar problem I had with Sun and Moon. I thought that they were gonna beef up certain things, but whatever. But another little OCD thing of mine is I miss having badges. Like, this was just like, these badges were like puzzle pieces to make a circle. And in Sun and Moon, there were no badges. They were like, you get something for your, I don't even remember. It was like you get a little
stamp. It was a stamp
or something. I miss those badges. Like, bring back the badges, please.
Yeah.
And the national decks.
Well, here's my thing about the national decks. The national decks wasn't in Sun and Moon either, but all the Pokemon were.
I was going to say, I don't care as much about a national dex as being able to have every Pokemon
but
transferable.
Obviously, that's what people mean.
Yeah.
But it's one of those misconceptions where the national dex didn't exist in Sun and Moon, but you were able to bring every Pokemon over. They just didn't have a dex entry. So it's just funny how people call it national dex when that's not what they're asking for. I could totally see Game Freak just putting in the national dex, but not all the Pokemon, and being like, well, you all wanted the national dex, so here you go. But you can't use them all.
That wouldn't make sense, though.
No, but it would be like a big middle finger. But anyway, yeah.
More so than Sword and Shield already are, but anyway.
You didn't like? I thought for some reason they said Sun and Moon.
I love Sun and Moon.
Yeah, me too.
I just want to chime in here for a second that we should probably dedicate less time to each game. Each person has a call.
Was living in the moment. Did anybody want to say anything else about Sword and Shield before we move on to Alpha? Whose number 5 is also Sword and Shield, because he just said that, so we could talk a little bit more.
About Sword and Shield, so I can say something about Sword and Shield?
Exactly. Let's just move on to Alpha so we can give his number 5 slot some time. Meanwhile, it's the same thing.
Okay, well, yes, as we already said, number 5 on my list is Pokemon Sword. Not Shield, because I didn't play it, so I can't judge it. So same. I can judge Sword. So I don't want to say too much here. I already told these guys behind the scenes. I don't want to say too much here because I already have a video, or possibly 2 or 3, I don't know, sharing all my thoughts about Pokemon Sword and Shield and the debacle with the national dex and the lies and the reuse models and all that jazz. And there are things I love about these games, and there's things I absolutely hate about these games. Like Drew already said, cutting the national dex is just, there's no reason for that. Every Pokemon someone's favorite. Every Pokemon should be there. The meh graphics. The trees look like trash. I'm sorry. It's very noticeable when you're going through this nice big open wild area, and these trees look like literal crap sticks sticking out of the ground.
And this episode, if I wasn't forcing myself to use Top 5 Games of 2019 as the title, there would have already been some good titles like Crap Sticks. But continue.
But they're like the worst, and someone made such a great point. All they had to do was make one tree, model that good, and then just copy it and paste it all over the map. I was like, y'all had one job. What the heck? Okay, anyway, but
You had one job.
Okay, so I'll stop being pessimistic and save that for the video. Most of the new Pokemon I love. Sandaconda, the starters, the 2 legendaries have really grown on me. Eternatus, just there's so many, just such great designs. Really good shinies, some not so good. Some I'm just like, why? But some really good shinies, some really good mons. Music is killer. Most of the characters are super enjoyable. Marnie is best girl, just saying. Next to Sonia. Sonia best girl.
Oh, wait. Marnie is best girl, I'd say, in terms of those competing, because I also am a little torn between Bia and Nessa. Although I might be leaning a little more towards Bia, because I always thought she was awesome and super cute when I first saw her. I was like, she's best girl of Sword and Shield.
They're both so cool, yeah.
But definitely Nessa, Marnie, Bia, and I guess, what's her, Sophie or Sophia? They're all up there.
Sonia,
and, Sonia, and what's the secretary lady?
Olena.
And a lot of people really like Melanie. She is not my type, but I can
she's
see
actually
she's got
Gordy's mom. I did not know that.
I mean, she's kind of cute too, but she's not in my
like
top.
it.
She's not in my top Pokemon Sword and Shield
waifus.
waifus.
Dynamax Pokemon out.
She's not in my top Pokemon Sword and Shield waifus. That slot probably goes to Bia. But anyway,
she reminds me of Pa.
Yes, that too. You know, she does.
That's like the reason I like her.
You know, I'll tell you, the graphics didn't bother me so much.
Honestly,
I'm more of like a story, art design person, and graphics to me aren't as big of a deal. But that's like, you know, the topping of your cupcake. So like, you know, it'd be nice if the trees looked nice, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but continue on. I have to agree, graphics aren't everything, but to me, you know, multi-billion-dollar company that makes billions off these games, they can at least afford to make them look amazing.
When you complain
the Pokemon
about
models
taking Pokemon models
really
out, please put in better graphics.
Exactly.
Sorry for talking over you, but I just wanted to back you up on that.
Their pitiful excuse of cutting Pokemon in half, taking out my boy Stoutland and others like Dragonite and Garchomp, and others that made no sense at all. It was a pitiful excuse. I'm sorry, Game Freak did lie. I mean, again, try not to be pessimistic. I'm going to save all that for my video or videos. But for the most part, it was a very meh game. It was just kind of, okay.
Exactly.
It was very tutorial-ish. It was very linear. It was very bland. The story was garbage. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Everything happened when you weren't paying attention. I was like, oh, go on to your gym journey. We're going to do big boy stuff over here. And it just felt like the most hand-holdy. And I will say this, me not being able to turn the experience share off, but you can turn off the freaking volume of a Pokemon's cry and the music and sound effects. What? But you can't even turn off the experience share. What the heck? What the heck?
That's the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's really, and
What?
It made the game even easier than it already was. And I'm gonna stop talking, or I'm gonna keep talking. So you can listen for the rest in my 2 or 3 videos in like 2020, and I'll probably lose subscribers for it. So it's it pains me to say that because I am such a big Pokemon fan. Y'all have no idea.
Too.
I've been with the series since I was like 3 or 4 years old, watching the anime, and didn't get into the game until I was like 13. And to see it come this far and flop so pitifully, it's really disheartening to see, because it's like watching giants fall. It's like what's happened to Disney over the years and other big companies like that, where they just get too big for their britches and it's all about money. And I feel like that's where Game Freak and the Pokemon Company is going. And it's kind of scary. But I'll say that for another time.
I will say they did add in some neat things, though.
Yeah, and again, I'll talk about those more in my like, Pokemon Camp is great. I love that so much. It's about the only place in the game where there's actually good animations. But, yeah.
I do like some of the cool methods of evolution that are so, like, out there. Like, to evolve Yamask to Renergus, it's like, you have to take a certain amount of damage.
Yeah.
And then go into a certain area. I was like, what?
Most of them I never would have known unless I looked up. Like, how would you have known to crit 3 times in one battle with Farfetch'd?
Although I will say that the item he holds makes it easier to crit, so I can see you accidentally doing that easily. But to accidentally come across the method to evolve Yamask would be very specific, because like you have to be in a certain spot. So.
But yeah, I love the Galarian forms, and like I said, all the new Pokemon pretty much are great. There's a few stinkers here and there, but for the most part,
for me,
I really do like the designs. And that's what I always look for in the new Pokemon games, is the new Pokemon. I mean, I love always bringing old Mons back to my team later on, and like, oh, let's see how they interact with each other in battle and stuff. And of course, I love Orangaroos back because, oh boy, Trick Room. But yeah, there's some really good. Yeah, Orangaroo's like one of the best Trick Room Mons. But and there's so many great mons to go with it, like Hatterene and Sandaconda and all that. So
there are good Pokemon, but there's also not so good. I don't like the new fossil mons. I like the idea of putting them together, but I don't like the design. Like, I don't know.
I will say I like the only one I don't really like is Dracovish. I love Arctozolt, and Arctovish is cool. But yeah, Arctozolt is my favorite.
I don't like how you can't see its original form. Like, where's the bottom half of some of them? Like, I like the idea of mixing and matching, but I feel like I would like it more as a bonus if you had the ability to have the full thing. Like, maybe there'd be someone who could break the fossil in half or something, and then you'd be like, oh, I can mix and match these. So it's a little bit more of like a bonus as opposed to like, this is how it is, but I don't know. That's I also wasn't too into the starters, Final Evolutions, but they did grow on me. But,
yeah, I have to say, I did not like Cinderace at all at first, and I think all of you guys knew that because I talked about it a good bit. But after seeing him in action and seeing his animation stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's like my favorite now. I like Rillaboom pretty good, and honestly, my favorite of the 3 is still Inteleon. I know people are like, ew, gross, but I like it. I really do. And
I wasn't really digging Inteleon until I saw some cool fan art of him, and then I kind of got used to it. I was like, okay, I get it now. He's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place, I'll admit. It's got like a glider on its back, and it shoots water out of its fingers like a sniper gun and stuff. But it's cool. I like it. It's not. It's definitely not Sobble, because Sobble is adorable and should be protected at all costs. But I definitely think Cinderace is probably, I don't know, they're pretty much tied. But I will say Thwackey is like the worst middle stage besides Willowden and Brionne. So, based on just the name alone, I don't like its design. It just. And, oh, no, I forgot. How could I forget Drizzile? I hate Drizzile too. But Raboot's cool. Okay, I'm gonna stop hating on
I like
Pokemon.
The water balloon concept that he throws.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't. They already did that with Popplio though, man.
Well, Popplio is bubbles, not water balloons.
Okay. With specific.
Excuse me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's let Dan talk. Shut up.
All right, Apocalypso, and you're number 5.
That was like the most passive-aggressive "excuse me" ever I've heard. By the way, excuse me.
I've never played Pokemon, so it's basically like another language to me. So I didn't understand anything you were saying.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, so my number 5, the one it's only my second game that I've played that came out in 2019, and so for the other games, other than the other games that I'm going with are ones that I played in 2019 that didn't come out in 2019. So only 2 came out in 2019. So those are the only 2 on the list that actually came out in 2019. But my number 5 is Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Because I feel like it's not really that great. Because even though it has...
We talked about it on the show a lot.
Even though it has enhanced graphics and 4 new civilizations and new architecture, new units, quality of life changes and stuff, when I played it, there were like a million bugs and glitches and stuff like that. It was basically not finished at all.
That sounds very familiar to our also top 5 pick.
Yeah, and it should have spent a couple more months in development, but they rushed it out. to have it, they rushed it to have it out before Christmas, which again is very familiar.
Yeah, I agree 100%, dude. And it is frustrating too. I mean, I can't feel with Age of Empires, but just games in general, it's like this could have been so much better if it just had more time in the oven. I agree 100%.
I haven't actually played. Like it can barely run on our computer, on my computer, the home computer, because of how graphically intensive it is. Even when it's on the lowest graphical setting, it still lags like crazy.
Okay.
And I would encounter texture issues when buildings are collapsing, where the collapsing building would suddenly be replaced with a static image of another building stretched out. I have no idea how that happened. And apparently it happened in an actual game that somebody played, and that was quite enough. And one of the new civilizations, they did not balance the game right at all. And one of the new civilizations was basically like the Bayonetta of Smash 4, where it basically just it completely dominated the meta to the point where if there was a single game with one player playing as that civilization, everybody would just end the game as soon as it started, because the civilization was just so oppressive, and it was legitimately overpowered. It wasn't just powerful; it was actually overpowered to the point that basically it was the only civilization you would see online at all. Everybody was playing as it, and it completely broke the balance of the game. Now, fortunately, they made a patch which made it slightly weaker, but it's probably still the best civilization in the game just because of how broken it is. Like, it can make battering rams a whole age before everybody else can. Which is, you don't know anything about the game, but that's very powerful. You can basically, and also you can build a second town center in the second age, which you can normally only do that in the third age. So, being able to build a second town center in the second age, an age before everybody else, is a very powerful bonus. You can basically just completely lame the opponent by building a town center right at their base, and then using the villagers garrisoning the villagers that you used to build the town center into the town center, which fires arrows at the enemy right in their base. And then you can build a siege workshop, which is for siege units, and you can build battering rams to finish them off. And it's just so broken. And like, there's a reason that the game is my top 5, my bottom. No, it's the bottom 5th. Of the barrel. It's the bottom of the list. It's the bottom of the list of the top 5 because I feel like it was mostly good. I mean, I didn't actually play an actual game. All I did was go into the scenario editor and watch buildings collapse. But from what I've seen and what other people have gameplay of, it was not balanced well. Its glitches were enormous, some of which were fixed in a recent patch, but it had way too many glitches for a game that was supposed to be finished. And I just felt like it had that general lack of quality that a AAA game is supposed to have.
I didn't even know it would be considered a AAA game.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the most... Age of Empires 2 is the most popular Age of Empires game, and to have a remastered version with quality of life changes that fix like all the things that people have plagued people for like 20 years is a pretty big deal.
What would you define as AAA anyway?
Major companies making games, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Are they planning on supporting the game anymore, or was it really just like one update and like that?
They're probably gonna keep making pounds patches. the HD edition, which came out in 2013, had many patches.
Okay.
So it's probably gonna have the same amount of support.
Neat.
But I'm gonna leave the reins to the next person.
Alrighty. That's you, Nintice. What was your number 5 game for 2019?
Oh boy.
Oh boy, what is it?
Because I know you get fired up about stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
I did too.
many-
I do too.
Have told me that I'm very passionate, and I agree with them. But anyway, my number my number 5 game of the year is Team Sonic Racing.
Okay.
I just
When it comes to me and Sonic, I have a very weird relationship for it. It's like a don't like relationship. I mean, I like them because I like platforming games, but at the same time, they also tend to really irritate me. Like especially the mini games, just But when I heard about Team Sonic Racing, it looked like a really fun racing game because it's basically a 3-team racing game where you have to help out your teammates in order to get the best score. Like say if you get first place, but then your teammates get lower places, you get less points. The roster's pretty great. I love it. The HD Rumble is incredible on this game. It's downright funny because
Really?
it is a pretty fast game. Like when you stop and get hit by an item, you almost like immediately get back up to speed, and then the system just rumbles from the speed at your car is going at. Yeah, I can't help but get so giddy every time that happens because
It's like, woo, vibrating.
yeah. And I'm also happy that the teams, they're not always set. Like there's a certain team of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Blaze Vector, and Silver. When you pick a character, the game actually randomizes the teams for you. So there can be a point that you can have 2 speed characters or 2 power characters. And I was hoping for that because there were times like I would hope for that I get a team with all my favorite characters in them.
How about 3 of the same type of character?
I think that only happens online.
Oh, okay.
This game is only number 5 because, unfortunately, I can't complete the story because it got too hard. What do you know?
Really?
Yeah, the missions, they just became too brutal. Like, you barely get enough time to complete the objective. You gotta be perfect in order to get the amount of points needed. And see, this is what I was talking about with Sonic minigames tend to always piss me off and it gets really annoying, so I couldn't complete the story. But the core gameplay, the single player gameplay, the racing, it's really good, and I had a very fun time. And like I said, the HD Rumble is hilariously awesome.
Okay.
Also, something else I like is that the characters talk during races. Like, they interact, like your teammates interact with each other, characters talk to each other when they hit each other, and sometimes when they fall off the stage, they sometimes have the funniest reactions ever. Like, I was playing a month or so ago, and all of a sudden I heard Sonic freak out, like, ah! I was like, what the heck was that? So what I did was I screen recorded the last 30 seconds, and then I replayed it, and then when I noticed that it was Sonic screaming, I busted a gut laughing. It was so funny.
Who's he screaming for? Tails? Amy?
I think he fell off the track.
Oh, he fell off the track. Okay.
I think so.
So, how long is the game?
How long is it?
Yeah.
Story mode lasted a pretty long time. I think I got stuck at
But you said
chapter
you couldn't
6.
beat it, right?
Yeah, I couldn't beat it. It got too hard.
Hmm.
I think I was stuck on chapter 6. Yeah. But like I said, the single player racing and stuff is fun. You can also customize your character's cars as well, like give them different paint jobs. You can even customize the horns.
Oh, neat.
Huh.
Yeah, there's times where I actually like this game more than Mario Kart 8. It's that fun.
Hmm.
And this is coming from a very, 50-50 Sonic fan, I guess.
Okay.
How often did you like it more than Mario Kart?
Pretty much the racing. because you know it's a team-based racing game, and the interactions are awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. You guys all know that I like Freedom Planet way more than Sonic, but again,
This is a game I have to play.
Please play it. It needs, and Galaxy still needs more money.
I will be playing it hopefully soon.
For the channel.
Yeah, dude, there's so much I have to do for the channel. It's hard to pick and choose. But yeah, it's hopefully coming soon in the new year.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I got some money to buy Bandicam.
Hey.
So I'm probably going to buy Bandicam with my parents' credit card, and I'm going to pay them back, which is what the money's for. And then I'm going to make gameplay videos for primarily Phantasy Star Online, because that's my favorite game. So.
Cool. Now Bandicam always has the watermark on the video, though, right?
Only if you buy the free only if you use the free version, which you can only have the watermark, and you can only record for 10 minutes. But if you buy the full version, there's no watermark, and you can record for whatever length of time you want. So
nice. Okay. Cool.
How much does it cost?
$34, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of the cheaper recording softwares. Yeah.
They told him that.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm done with my fifth game. Can't really say too much.
So now we can move on to the fourth.
All right, number 4. So here's where my number 1 through 4 is a bit interchangeable, I feel like. So my number 4 that I picked was Devil May Cry 5. Awesome game. I'm really into Devil May Cry, and it was great to see that come back again after 4. I really enjoyed 4. People didn't like the back and forth with replaying levels as Dante, but I really liked 4. And so with 5, it seemed like they got rid of a lot of backtracking, but sometimes environments got a little samey. I did like playing as 3 different characters. Sometimes I was a little bit frustrated. I thought that, from what I remembered from 1 through 4, that some of the controls in 5, the dodging seemed finicky. I don't know if it was either that it was archaic or maybe they changed it. I don't remember. But the action was awesome. The story was neat. Overall, it was pretty awesome. It's great to see Devil May Cry return. I hope they continue and make a 6th one down the line, and that this isn't like the final one. They introduced some new characters and new concepts, and something that they did was a cool little history of Devil May Cry, where they, briefly went over 1 through 4, and that was neat to kind of get the nostalgic feels. And I don't know what else to say without spoiling it, but certain characters were cool, their motives. I thought that some of the bosses would have played bigger roles in the story, but they didn't. I was kind of like, what was the point of giving this one a cutscene when the next time you meet it, you kill it? Like, so, there was a couple of little things like that I questioned. Like, I remember one demon in particular was talking to another demon about finding something before somebody else, and the way the cutscene was set up, you started to feel like, oh, this is going to be a major player in this game, and then the next time you see them, you kill them in a boss battle, and I'm like, so what's the point, really, from a story perspective? Just to kind of say, oh, this demon's a little more important? I don't know. But some things were a little unclear on who exactly some characters were. I had to read on the wiki or read online just to get a little bit of clarification. But maybe it was intended to be kind of like an interpretive thing. I don't know. But in a nutshell, Devil May Cry 5 was awesome, and they added some cool things. A couple of controls, I know in a past episode I had some complaints, but overall it was pretty cool. Yeah. That was my quick number 4 game. How about you, Alpha?
My number 4 game is WayForward's River City Girls. I got this. I was tempted to get this game when I saw it was going to be released through limited run. I thought that was going to be its only physical release. Little did I know it came out physical later. But anyway, I've got the limited run cover, so that's really cool. So the story goes that these two girls, Misako and Kyoko, best girl, their boyfriend's Kunio, not Keanu Reeves. Kunio and Riki get kidnapped, and so they go around the town beating people up, trying to find their boyfriends. And it sounds so dumb, but it's actually, the writing is so good, the humor and voice acting is so good, and if Shantae's dialogue and gameplay is anything like this, I'm going to be in for a treat, because holy crap, the writing, the jokes, it's so funny. Oh my gosh, there were so many times I just was busting out laughing because of their interactions, because their whole thing is just, give us answers or we'll pound your face in, pretty much. So, but Kyoko is the only character I've played as so far. I have not played as Misako. I wanted to play as her on a new file and just play both of them all the way through in their respective, their own respective ways. And I hadn't played duos with anybody, so I didn't do co-op switch between either of them. But I've only played as Kyoko and love her moveset. She's the one who can dab, and so I automatically unlocked that as soon as I could, because
Which one is Kyoko?
She's the one with the band-aids on her legs, this little purple skirt, the ponytail, and the bubble gum, and the baseball bat. Yeah, she is so cool. She's the cute one of the two, and then Misako is like the tough as nails girl, tomboyish. But yeah, I love Kyoko. She's just so sweet and so cute. And then she's like, "What'd you say about my Riki?" And she's like, turns on a dime, and it's like, it's cute. She's just like, "Oh, that's hecka sad," and she's just super cool. I love her. Misako's cool, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't spent time with Misako like I have Kyoko's moveset. But anyway, the characters are super memorable. I already heard Christina V's voice as one of the school bullies, who is probably going to end up being one of the villains of the game, because I still have not finished the game. I'm probably only about halfway through, because you go through the school, you go through the town, you go through the alleyways, you go on top of buildings, and there's bosses that are tough, but they're super memorable and all super unique and super fun ways to fight them. I had to fight Masuzu, the first boss, about 8 or 9 times just because I was getting used to the controls and everything. I was just like, that is one thing I have to say about the game that I don't like, is that you can't just tilt forward to dash like in Smash Bros. You have to like double tap it really quick to dash forward fast, and it's aggravating. Otherwise, you're just kind of walking slowly, and so it's hard to evade certain attacks from opponents like that. Maybe it's just that my Joy-Con stick is wonky. I don't know. But
drifting.
The bosses are tough, and the gameplay overall is pretty tough. You have to stock up on food items to stay healed up. But besides the difficulty and this pretty steep spike in difficulty as the game goes, the humor. One thing I love, I don't know if Misako does it, but Kyoko, whenever she eats, she goes like nom 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 and nom nom nom, and just makes like eating sounds, and it is adorable and awesome. And the first time she ever did, I busted out laughing because, like I said, the humor in this game is great. So yeah, it's kind of low on my list because, like I said, I have not finished it, and so I don't really know that I could put it higher up because I don't know the ending. I know once you beat the game, you actually unlock Kunio. I want to say Keanu, Kunio, and Riki as playable characters. But so I'm looking forward to playing the game after I beat it and stuff some more. But yeah, from what I played so far, it is definitely worthy of top 4. It is a very fun game, and characters are great. Music is really good. The opening cutscene is really good. There's actually several animated cutscenes throughout the game that introduce the different characters. There's like manga articles in the game. It's just really cool. It's just really cool and stylized. And like I said, if Shantae is any bit as fun as River City Girls, I'm in for a treat. I'm very excited.
Nice.
So is it my turn now?
Yeah. Also, let's try to cover our games quick because we're running low on time. So
yeah, it's 8:30. So
okay. So Apocalypso, what's your number 4?
Okay, so once again, these are games that I haven't, that are not did not come out in 2019, but I played them in 2019. So I think my number 5, not my number 4, would probably be Shantae and the Pirate's Curse.
Nice.
Ooh.
I mean, I liked it, but it's not like one of the best games I've played. I really liked it. I didn't actually finish it because the true ending is ridiculously hard to do.
You didn't beat it?
I beat the game without the true ending.
Oh, okay. I don't even
But
remember.
I was going to play it. I played through it again to get the true ending, but I haven't actually gotten to the true ending because I need to grind for like a lot of gems to buy enough recovery items to actually get through the final boss, the final form. So yeah.
I remember enjoying that game. Did you like the change in moves with the pirate equipment?
I mean, I like the pirate equipment. I thought it was pretty neat. I think many of those pirate moves, the pirate equipment, many of them have like a lot of potential to be smash moves if Shantae was in.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like especially the flintlock pistol, I think would definitely be a good neutral special or something like that. It just screams neutral special to me, but that's a topic for another time.
Yeah. Although I will say that I sometimes question if it would be in a random tilt like the slingshot in Villager's move, like if it was a back attack and she just shoots it. But I mean, we're going off topic, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
That would be kind of strange, but as for the game itself, I like the gameplay, I like the levels. I honestly thought it was just a little too short. I mean, obviously it's an indie studio that made it, so I can't expect like a big sprawling story, but I liked what I had, but I thought it was a little too short. Maybe they could release a definitive edition down the line or something like that with more levels. I just thought there were, too few levels. But I did like the dungeons. I thought the puzzles were kind of confusing sometimes. Especially there's this one puzzle where I have to figure out there are these cage things that are rising, and I have to figure out how to get them all lined up, and that was particularly frustrating both times I played the game. And I had to consult a playthrough quite a few times to actually be able to get all the collectibles and just get through the puzzles in general. So it's a very intellectual game. If you like puzzles, which I do not like puzzles at all. If you like puzzles, then you probably don't like it, because if you also like Metroidvania games, you like that because it's a Metroidvania game. But like the thing is, it also has like really good writing too. It's not like story. It's not really story based, but it does have a story, and the story that it has is pretty good. And there's a lot of personality put in characters. So I think it's a pretty good game. Overall, and I really liked it, even though I haven't finished it, but that's all about that for now.
Okay, cool. I like that game. I like the unique villain, because it's always Risky Boots, and it's like, oh, this is different. I'm teaming up with Risky Boots to fight someone else now. So that was neat.
I didn't know that.
What do you mean? It's throughout the entire game.
Oh, I knew that you team up with her throughout the game. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you mean you thought like it was still gonna be her?
No, I know who it is. I mean, I just. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's a spoiler because throughout
I've
the
learned,
whole game you're partnered with her, so it's kind of like, you already know that.
You're like,
it would actually be a twist if it was Risky Boots as the final boss. So,
well, like it's actually kind of subverts expectations, because normally when you team up with a villain, you expect the villain to betray, the hero.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But she doesn't. She actually.
Because it's like you both share a common villain.
She's loyal to the end, like like they were friends, even though they're bitter enemies.
Although she's loyal to the end because your enemy is her enemy too, which I guess you both benefit from.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the way I see it. I don't see them actually as friendly, like friend allies. They're just, allies. At least in
they're forced together. Yeah.
Yeah, in Risky's case, like even if she's just using Shantae, like they both need to beat this villain. So.
Anyway, that's enough for me for now.
Right.
Yeah.
And how about you, Nick Ice, who's been ever so quiet?
My number 4 is Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
Ooh.
All right.
Ever since it was announced last year ever since the Spyro games were announced as an HD remaster, I was really eager to play it because I've heard of Spyro, but through Skylanders, which I grew bored of quite fast. But of course, at the time last year, it was a PlayStation and Xbox exclusive, or was it Xbox or was it PlayStation? I don't know. Well, either way, it wasn't available on the Switch until this year. So when it was announced at E3, I was very, very hyped because I can finally play it.
Mm-hmm.
I did try it out on a PS3 booth at GameStop, and I just fell in love with it. It looked really good. The animations are great. And honestly, I kind of gushed over Spyro's idle animations because I kind of didn't know that dragons licked themselves. But anyway, it's so much fun. If you like open world games like Banjo-Kazooie, you will love it. In fact, I kind of feel like Spyro and Banjo could cross over with each other because, they kind of have the same, gameplay style, same humor, the same, I actually imagined Spyro and Sparks HP icons, like the Banjo and Kazooie head one. I actually imagined that in my head for Spyro and Sparks, and it looks so good in my head. And
Sparks? What do you mean Sparks?
The dragonfly.
Oh, okay. So Kazooie.
I managed to 100% the first 2 games. I did beat the third one, but that one is particularly frustrating to do because there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of secrets in it. To the point that the game doesn't even tell you them, and this is kind of... Originally this was higher on my list, but I bumped it down a few because some of the collectibles and side missions are very hard.
Mm-hmm.
It really got on my nerves. And especially in the second one, which hands down has the hardest skill points. Like, you know how people rank the Crash games like the first one's the hardest? Well, I'll say in terms of 100%ing it, the second one is the hardest because there's a few skill points that requires you to beat bosses perfectly without taking a hit. And the second one is particularly challenging. I actually kind of damaged my Switch over getting frustrated from it. Thankfully, when you 100% Ripto's Rage, there is a permanent fire power-up that you can get that allows you to cheese the boss easily. But yeah, Ripto's Rage was very, very hard. And it also had a character that I extremely hated because he constantly forces you to pay for stuff, whether you need to learn a move to progress or progress through levels. I just did not like him. I won't reveal the name of who he is, but he is honestly just a greedy con artist. Thankfully, in the third game, you get some very nice payback, and I won't spoil what happens. But when I beat the third game, I was busting a gut over what you got to do to him. I was laughing so loud. But yeah, I kind of hope that they make a new classic Spyro game, but I know that sadly won't ever happen. But
why do you think that?
Well, because Spyro kind of got dragged into Skylanders. Yeah. But yeah, music is great. The worlds are awesome. Although some of the levels can be quite annoying and challenging, I'm warning you, there are some, particularly in the first one, that are very, very annoying, especially if you want to get all the gems. But this is a very good time. If you if you love Banjo-Kazooie, you will love this game. And there's tons and tons of content. So if you're a completionist, or whether you only do it with certain games, or you're a full-time completionist, there is a lot to do in this game.
I've never played Spyro, so I would have no idea what to expect.
Same.
Prior to this, me neither.
Mhm.
The Switch actually got me into a lot of new series.
Now, what if Crash had a backpack on his back and carried Spyro in the backpack?
Oh gosh.
Oh my
There's
god.
probably fan art of that.
Crasho and Spyrooey.
Okay, that was kind of cringy.
Yeah, it was. Let's
Spyro
move
and
on.
Parachute.
Yeah.
Let's forget I said that, and let's move on.
Let's move on.
because
Never forget.
You did not say that.
You did not say that. He did not say that.
I don't know too. Anyway, so on to the number 3. So my number 3 is Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So I don't know if this is a cop out or not, or whatever the word you would call it, because Monster Hunter World came out not this year, but the DLC expansion, and I guess by default if it was in Kingdom Hearts terms or Final Fantasy terms, would be like the final mix, maybe? I don't know. But it was released this year, and it adds a whole new rank, a whole new campaign, a new story, new monsters, some new abilities. It was like almost like playing a sequel in a sense, a continuation of the main game, and they're still supporting it. I was gonna put this higher on my list, but I feel like they're just interchangeable with my top 3. I said top 4, but even the top 3 I feel like are even more close. Like they're much closer. My number 1 and 2 kind of don't play much because I beat them and that was it. But it's number 3 I keep playing, and I was playing it again yesterday because they're still updating it. So I'm like torn if I wanted to make it my number 2 or number 1, but I don't know. Monster Hunter World Iceborne is awesome. They added some cool monsters. I finally put in my baby Zenogre. Loves Zenogre. And
my baby.
My baby Zenogre. My baby. And they added in this unique post game where it is this area that's an amalgamation of all the areas you've been to. So on one part of it you have the snow, on the other part of it you have the desert, and there's all these environments so closely knit together, and they have this level system for the environments that based on how many monsters or I guess things you do in those areas, they level up and you get better like materials to farm in those areas, and I'm still learning it. But they just added a lot, and they're still adding more, and it's just there's so much content in this game. God, I have like I forget the exact number, but it's somewhere between 300 and 400 hours in this game.
Wow.
So yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, that was my in a nutshell of my 3rd game. How about you, Alpha? What's your number 3?
My number 3 pick is, ironically enough, Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts buff. I've only ever played 2 and 3, the story all the way through. I've played most of Chain of Memories, and I've played very little of the first game, and it was frustratingly hard. But I love 2, and so 3 is something I've been waited with bated breath for quite a few years now. And yeah, the game was not perfect. There was a lot that disappointed me. For one thing, why did I not fight Shadow Buzz Lightyear? Why? Why was that not a boss fight? Why was he not shooting lasers at me? Why did I not fight Randall? Why did I not fight Hans or someone like that? Why did I not fight so many? Like, the only Disney villain is Davy Jones, and the only other Disney character you fight is Marshmallow. That's it. And
Marshmallow.
then you fight
dark version
the
of
big
things.
the big frozen snowman.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I have to say, besides that, voice acting is kind of voice acting is kind of hit or miss in Kingdom Hearts. To be honest, Riku was not the best in this game. I love Sora. Obviously, I'm biased towards Sora, but it was cool to see the whole gang back together.
Why are you biased towards Sora though?
He's just a cool dude. I love him. He's just so.
I love.
He's
Sora.
happy and
I just wanted
nice,
to
and he's
know
just,
why you thought so.
Oh, I know. He's just that cool friend. You're like, I can depend on you. And he's just, and in this game, he's not just like happy all the time. You see him go through his struggle of like, am I good enough? Am I strong enough?
And
Can
without
I?
spoilers, especially at the end.
Yes. And I don't want to share, like, I kind of want to talk about spoilery stuff, but at the same time, I know Nint Ice hasn't played the game and he kind of wants to, and but yeah, some very emotional stuff.
Of the Big Hero 6 world because I was really hyped for it.
All I'll say is that the ending, the ending of the game had me crying in my bed because I'm a big fat loser, baby. But yeah, the Disney worlds were great picks. Pirates looked amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm not like a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. I really could care less about it. I haven't really seen any of the movies all the way through, but just the characters look so good. I mean, it's the best looking world in the whole game. And then of course I was hyped to see Frozen and Tangled in this game because they're two of my favorite Disney movies. They honestly ended up being two of my least favorite worlds just because Frozen especially was like, oh, go up the mountain. Oh, get knocked all the way back down. Oh, go all the way back up. Oh, get all the way knocked back down. Go back, fight Marshmallow. Oh, get knocked down again and go down with Marshmallow and save Elsa and Frozen. And that's all it was. It was frustrating.
In their defense, though, I think they had restrictions put on them by the actual creators of Frozen.
That is true.
I think I remember hearing something that they wanted to do specific things or more with the Frozen level, but they were like given strict directions, like you can't do this, you can't do this. You can
and it was a shame because I was like, do we fight Elsa? Do we team up with Elsa? And the whole time I'm in there, I'm like, well, who the heck do I team up with? And then Marshmallow's like, after you fight him, he's like, Elsa. He's like, and then Sora's like, we should team up. And I was like, what? I was freaking out. But yeah, my brother said, I wish I'd seen that on. He said I was freaking out too. Because I mean, he's like this. He's huge, man. He is massive, and I love that you have like two partners in most worlds. You have Flynn Rider, and Rapunzel. You have Mike and Sully. You have Buzz and Woody. You have just Baymax, but then you have the whole Big Hero 6 crew chilling out too. It was just, I honestly have to say, Toy Story was probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite world, just because of the mic drop Woody had against Terra Nort. You're more hollow than any other.
No, wait.
I was like, yo,
that was against. Wasn't that against
fire out
Vanitas? No, it wasn't against Vanitas. It was against. That was against young Xehanort, right?
Young Xehanort, not Terra Nort. Okay, yeah, young.
I knew
Xehanort.
it wasn't Terra Nort.
But yeah, Woody was, and I gotta say, they actually got pretty accurate voice actors for Mike, Sully, Buzz, and Woody, because they actually got John Ratzenberger and Shane Wallace for Ham and Rex. Yeah. But they actually hired Tom Hanks' brother, to play Woody.
He does.
Some other guy.
I think he does all of the Toy Story movie voices of Woody. Like any promo stuff, he always does.
Really good. And then Buzz is actually really good.
Tom Hanks refuses to do any roles of Woody that are not movies.
Yeah,
really?
I don't know why, but whatever.
It's a shame. He would have been so great. I know I was shocked they got Idina Menzel and Kristen Bell and Josh Gad and all of them for Frozen. I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually them. And for Mike and Sully, fun fact, the guy that plays Mike actually plays characters like Mr. Crocker and Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. That was the same guy.
Wow.
Yep. And then the guy that played Sully was really good. It wasn't John Goodman, but he was really good. But yeah, the voice acting was great. The worlds were great. The combat was kind of samey and repetitive, depending on which weapons you use all the times. But they had these big, flashy, epic attacks with the different Keyblades, and all the Keyblades were really cool and unique. And then they had the limit things, not the limit things, the the attractions, they were kind of OP. They were cool and flashy, but they were just really OP. The game was really easy because of all the power-ups and stuff. It was cool and flashy and fun, but it was stupid easy, kind of like Pokemon. But yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It wasn't as awesome as I thought it would be, but man, seeing every character come back pretty much, not trying to spoil anything, but man, there were some moments I had tears rolling down my face. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. One reunion in particular with 3 particular people from Birth by Sleep had me crying so hard. It was just a very emotionally charged, very, very cool game. Just lots of cool interactions and lots of just good jokes and stuff. And I gotta say, Donald and Goofy both were really good in this game, because sometimes Goofy is more broken than Donald.
To find some ingredients.
Yeah, yes. I got Spot to find some ingredients. Yeah, he says that a lot. I love one thing I love that they fixed, and now I'll shut up. One thing I love that they fixed is that for the most part, like 90% of the interactions, it's not just text bubbles. It's actually characters talking to you. Yes. I was like, oh, I love this so much, and then you can take selfies with them, and it's so cool. Okay, I'm done. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 was great. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot of fun.
Now I wanted to add a couple.
Wasn't in it. I would have liked to fight Rand. I mean, obviously I didn't get to play it yet, but I'm kind of sad to hear that Randall isn't in it.
Yeah, you end up fighting a Dream Eater. No, it's an Unversed. Seriously, it's a Heartless, but it's an Unversed. Yeah.
A couple things I wanted to add was that what I did like about the different worlds is they felt very different from each other. The Pirates of the Caribbean level, in particular, felt like a completely different game. I actually winded up leveling up the ship all the way and explored all the islands, just because I was so like really into exploring that for some reason.
Yeah, that world is huge, man. Like, my brother was going through it. I mean, because I played the main story all the way through. I didn't go exploring and getting all the treasure chests and stuff, but I was just watching him just swim around, and I was like, dude, how big is this level? My gosh.
Huge.
I mean, because there's multiple islands, and there's huge expansions of sea in between each island that you can explore pretty much almost like huge swaths of the map. You can just swim through and fight Heartless and find treasure and stuff. And it's just like, dude, how big is this game? It's a big level. But definitely Toy Story 3 was cool. And I love how they had You Got a Friend in Me as like the main theme.
Oh, yeah. Did they offer a story reason why Sora could use the attractions? Or was he just able to use it? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I think you can argue that it was part of the new outfit he got, but I think you were able to use the attractions in Olympus, which was before you got the new outfit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He just for some reason could use them. So
yeah, and you would love it, Nit. You would love it, Nit, because there's actually a Mad Teacups summon that you actually get to ride in with Donald and Goofy, and you're all spinning around and beating Heartless around in giant magical teacups. It's really cool. Because the attractions are based on different rides at the Disney parks. Like, they've got a giant coaster at one point where you're fighting the Rock Titan from Hercules, and they've got a giant swinging ship for like pirates that shoots water out and stuff. It's just really cool. There's some really cool stuff.
It was the Heartlesses on birthdays.
Yeah. Time to take you down.
Sorry, I don't mean to be.
I'm sorry.
I'm concerned about the time. Taking a really long time. We're only at number 3.
Don't worry, my number 3 won't take too long because I didn't beat it yet.
Wait,
I have a feeling that these top 3 spots, some of us might overlap games. or
yeah, maybe, I haven't gone
maybe
yet.
Just Kingdom Hearts 3.
But can I go?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gone yet. So my number 3 is one that actually did come out this year, and that's Dragon Quest 11.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do that.
That's the only other game. It's the only other game that came out this year. That I actually played. So I actually really like Dragon Quest 11, but it's kind of tedious, and I don't always know where to go. and well, I like the combat, and I think it has a really good story. It's a really sad story. The story's kind of sad.
Really?
And I was actually crying at one point because of how sad it is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You played it too?
Yeah. I we'll get to that in a minute, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't really like Sylvando that much. I think he's kind of obnoxious.
Which one is that?
He's the one who talks like this, darling. Just
Yeah, he's the jester.
yeah.
But like, I just think he's kind of obnoxious. And have you all played Dragon Quest XI?
No.
No.
I'm trying to play 1 through 9 first, and if we ever get 10 in America, 10. I'm up to 7.
10 is an MMO.
I know, but I still
but-
want to play it.
Really? That's weird. Huh.
But if we get it in English, I'll play it.
Maybe you can find a fan translation somewhere. I don't know, but anyway, I think that Dragon Quest XI is a very good game. It's really difficult, but I actually beat this giant spider boss in one try, which I usually need multiple tries to beat a boss. I've been playing it a lot for the past few days because I finally got past the first Jasper fight, which I was stuck at.
Yeah, I know how. Yeah, he's tough.
And like, there wasn't even any pomp when I actually beat him.
Mm-hmm.
I got like two pet powers with 11 and Sylvando. I got 2 of them. And that was actually apparently enough to beat him, because then I used the second pet power, and then I used another move, and that got rid of him. So, and after that, I was moving on to the rest of the story, and the story right now is actually really good, and it's really sad and thought-provoking, and there's a lot of plot twists and good writing and stuff like that, and I just think in general it's a really good game, but it does have some flaws, mainly that it's kind of difficult to tell where you're supposed to go, because it gives general objectives but doesn't really guide you towards the objective a whole lot, so it's kind of difficult to understand what to do and where to go, and it's sometimes I just find myself running around for like ages trying to figure out where to go, and I'm kind of stuck on where to go now.
See, I
so
like exploring, but I hate when I don't know where to go.
yeah, like sometimes I'll just run around and fight enemies just for no reason. Especially if I level up a character and get a spell.
That's actually what I was gonna say about the Pirates of the Caribbean level in Kingdom Hearts 3. The same thing where like I kind of didn't know where to go, and I was okay at first because I wanted to explore, but when it came down to wanting to go where I wanted to go, I didn't know where to go. So that's reminded me what you were saying of that.
But yeah, I think I've got enough to say about Dragon Quest XI. Like, there's not really much to say about, but there is a part of the story where 11, well, I named him Rolf after the main character from Phantasy Star 2. I named him Rolf after that, which was actually the name I gave to Link in Ocarina of Time 3D, but that's irrelevant, that's off topic. But there is a part of the story where 11 is in an arena fight, and he's wearing a mask, and it reminded me a lot of Joker from Persona 5. It was like, hey, it's another RPG character with a mask.
Can you wear the mask indefinitely or only temporarily?
I think only temporarily.
Oh,
only during the arena fight, which is a little disappointing.
Maybe it's unlockable later.
Maybe. I still haven't figured out how to get the 8 costume. There's an 8 costume where you can actually wear 8's clothing.
It's DLC. It's free DLC.
It's free DLC. How do I download it?
I just looked it up on the eShop. If you just look at like Champions Pass or something like that, I think it's Champions Pack. Or just look at Dragon Quest 11. It should pull up. But yeah, it's free DLC.
Okay.
And then it comes with a free costume for Veronica as well. So.
Okay. I actually got one part of the the bunny suit.
Yeah.
There's the fishnet stockings. So like when I get the full set, I'm gonna put that on Jade.
Oh gosh.
It just seems like the most fitting character to wear that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough for me.
Alright. Well, what about you, Dice? What's your number 3?
Fittingly similar with Alpha's pick, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Ooh.
Now, this won't take very long because I haven't beaten it yet, but I will say this. The graphics look beautiful, and I love the cutscenes, and King Boo looks so terrifying in this game. And the introduction is hands down one of my favorites, if not my favorite, of any video game, because it's so cute and wholesome, and I love how Mario and Luigi interact with each other. I'm sure you've seen on Twitter of them saying goodnight to each other. And Luigi actually keeps Polterpup from the second one.
Oh,
and
nice.
and in case you're wondering, yes, you can pet it.
And yeah.
How did that become a
Luigi
thing,
has
petting
the
dogs?
I don't know.
Luigi has the best interaction with Polterpup because you actually hear him say, "Happy! Ah, Polterpup!" It's so cute. I love it. But then, of course, after the introduction, things get all spooky again.
Yeah.
But what I played so far, I love it. I didn't even get stuck that much so far, which I really like. However, and I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but I do have a similar complaint I have with I forgot what game it was, but there was a mode in here that I can no longer enjoy by myself, the Scarescraper mode, which I get it, it's a multiplayer mode, but in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Scarescraper was there too, and you were able to play and beat it by yourself. In this game, you barely get enough time to beat the floors by yourself, and that kind of disappointed me, because I love Scarescraper in the second game.
Oh, is this
And
what you
I
were
was-
referring to when we were discussing the raids in Pokemon?
Yes, this is what
Okay.
I meant. It's a similar complaint. And it's kind of sad because I was actually tempted to put Luigi's Mansion 3 as my favorite game of the year, but because of this, it kind of bumped it down. But the main story is very good, and I'm loving it so far.
Okay.
And that's all I have to say about it.
That game is on my radar when it goes on sale. I'll probably get it. Because, I mean, I love Luigi. I like Mario, but man, Luigi is where it's at. And I've never played a Luigi's Mansion game, but the graphics and just the humor from what I've seen at cutscenes and just little snippets and stuff, it looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to play it. So that's on my radar too. But I'm a cheapskate, so I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale. So
Hey, cheapskate.
So,
be the cheapskate.
I guess we'll jump. I guess we'll jump to our number 2s, so we don't have too much time left. So, my number 2 is fittingly Resident Evil 2.
Huh? These number puns.
Yeah, I just noticed that. That game was awesome, and I'm super excited for Resident Evil 3 remake. A couple of complaints I had, which I had addressed in past episodes. If anybody wants to know more in depth about, because I keep saying, "Oh, this I talked about in a past episode." Throughout the year episodes we've had, I've discussed some games I played, and I'm pretty sure probably the same for these guys. But really quick, Resident Evil 2 seems to be a reimagining of the original Resident Evil 2. I don't know where it falls in canon. I don't know if it's an alternate take on the story. I don't know if it's the new canon. I don't like how they seem to rewrite certain things. Like, for example, the Ivy enemies in the old games were always walking plants, whereas the Ivy in this game is a zombie with plants in it. So then, for me, who's a type of person, for someone like me who's very OCD about specific story elements and like, well, how is this in the story? How's that story? I question, well, what happened to the Ivies in the laboratory in this game if this is the new version of it, and why is this new one not in the older version? So I get like strange story. I get very anal about that, but I love the stuff they added. They made certain things a lot scarier. I don't know why they decided to change voice actors again. I don't know why they keep changing face models and voice actors between every game. It gets annoying because it's like watching a TV show where between every season, a character, the same character is a different actor, and it's like there's no reason. Unlike Doctor Who, where there's a reason for it being a different actor, there's no reason. It's just like this is how they look and sound now. It's like, so why? So that's one thing I'm against.
I agree with you. I don't really like it when they change character designs. Freedom Planet.
I understand it being a reimagining, but it's been following that trend for like every Resident Evil game. So like you can't use that as an excuse that it's a remake. I like some of the decisions they made in terms of realism. Like I think they changed. I remember them mentioning they changed Claire's outfit a bit because whether it was the actress or the motion capture model mentioned something about, like, she actually rides motorcycles and so does Claire. So she was actually explaining that the outfit that the original outfit that Claire had, wearing that would actually hurt because the wind would whip on your skin as you're riding the motorcycle. So they changed the clothes to be more realistic, which I thought was pretty cool. Then I don't like, and I hate to sound like one of those people who are like asking to be told get good, but there are certain things that are just too difficult. And I don't want to sound like a baby, but like all of the bonus scenarios of like the non-canon different characters at the end of the game and the fourth survivor, they're all like impossible. And I've seen people play them online, but they're very they play very much like you have to know exactly what's around the corner. Like you have to memorize the layout and know like when and when not to use certain things. And I don't want to play like that. I want to be able to run through and have fun and not be like, oh crap, I wasted my knife defending myself. Now I'm not gonna be able to beat this. In modes like that, I don't think you should have such limited stuff. I know in Resident Evil 7, you were rewarded infinite ammo. I forget the specifics, but it was more lenient in terms of like as long as you beat the hardest difficulty, you would be rewarded with something like that. And in this game, it was like, no, you have to get S+ difficulty, and the only way to do that is to like not use certain items and beat the game in like 2 hours and not die. And it's like, that's a bit too ridiculous. So,
dang.
Like, there are certain decisions that I was against, and it is reminiscent of the original game because I know I think they had similar unlockable achievements or whatever, but this was just ridiculous. Like, this goes a little against what I enjoyed. I actually was one of those people who purchased the DLC to unlock the infinite ammo because I just did not want to deal with that. That was a complaint I had. But I love how they let you use the old soundtrack in the game, because when I played it again to like just get some collectibles that I missed. I put on the old soundtrack and the old sound effects, and it was like music to my ears.
Spyro has that feature too.
Cool.
Another thing I disliked very much was they had the opportunity to make sense out of two different campaigns. The original Resident Evil 2, it was very up in the air as what was canon because both scenarios ended slightly differently, and they seemed to have no intention of making one official ending, because like a character will die in one scenario and the same character will die a completely different way in a different scenario, and both locations of what they did were important to the story. So it's like, how could you have died here doing this, come back to life, and then die there? Certain things did not make sense. So I really wish they would have made an effort to make one ending out of certain things, as opposed to like two completely separate stories. Like, I still don't know what the true canon is for like Annette Birkin. Like, how did she die? I don't know. So, but yeah, that's my number 2 game. Alpha, what's your number 2?
To repeat what Apocalypso said, my number 2 pick is Dragon Quest XI-S. Now, I was one of the staunchest people against Hero and Smash because I was like, oh, you're not Sora, Dragon Quest sucks. And so, just honestly, very childishly dismissed it because it's not Kingdom Hearts, it's not Shantae, it's no one that I wanted, so it was a crappy game because I never played it. And then my friend Jeremiah, you guys know him as the Chosen One, said, man, give this game a chance, give the series a chance. And so I got Dragon Quest XI-S, pre-ordered it, and right from the get-go, I fell in love with the story, and the characters are great, and just the humor, and the dialogue, and the voice acting, and like Dan said, there was points I was tearing up. There was points I was about pure cry because it just these characters, you get so attached to them, and then stuff takes a turn, and it's like, oh my gosh, and it's just I still have not finished it yet. I still haven't gotten Jade on my team yet, so that shows you how far I've been along. I'm probably not very far along at all, but it's just this huge, expansive region for you to explore, and it honestly, I think I said this a couple months back in the podcast, there are a few games that give me the joy Pokemon does, and this was one of those games. And it showed me what Pokemon could be, and it made me wish Pokemon was more like this. I see why Dragon Quest is so huge in Japan, because this game is nothing short of a masterpiece in just the little bit that I've played of it. The characters, the music, the combat, the world, just everything is so good. There's a couple things obviously I don't like, some of the more suggestive stuff, like there's literally an enemy that's like a succubus bat that rubs its boobs in your face and stuff like that. Yeah, it doesn't show it obviously, and then of course the puff, and there's some minor profanity and stuff, and just stuff obviously I'm just not a fan of in gaming or whatever in any kind of media, but for the most part, it's just a great game, and the characters are super memorable. Eric, my boy, you got Serena and Veronica, love those two. Sylvando's kind of weird, but he's cool. He's actually really good. He's actually really pretty strong.
I do get a kick out of Sylvando's antics.
Yeah, he's just like, hey-ya! And he's a trip. He really is, and I cannot wait.
I like how
he joined my team. So
I like how he just shows up out of nowhere. It's like, hey, it's me.
It's like, hello, darling. Are you ready to go? And he's a trip. He's
now,
crazy.
Alpha, did you actually finish the game?
Oh no, I'm nowhere near finishing it.
Yeah,
like I said, I haven't even gotten Jade yet. So
yeah, you must not be far behind me though, because I just got Jade and Rab.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm in the town where I get them, but I haven't played in months because, I started playing River City Girls, and then Pokemon came out, so I have not touched it in months, and so I haven't had a chance. So it's gotten to the point where it's like either work on videos or play video games. So it's just you have to pick and choose for the time.
You must ask for both.
Yeah, I just have to manage my time better. And I try and play too many games at one time. That's a problem. But I won't go too much longer because I have to leave in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dragon Quest XI-S. If you're like me and you were just like, oh, Hero's stupid, Dragon Quest sucks, give it a chance. Like, this game is gorgeous. The rotating camera was a thing before Pokemon ever had it in there. Why was that not a thing earlier? But it's just a good game, and like I said, it's everything I wish Pokemon was, and then some. So, okay, yeah, you can.
All right, so my turn. My number 2 is Smash Ultimate,
Hey,
and that's
You have been playing it. I see you on the Switch pop on, and it's like Apocalypso's playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
hundreds of hours.
I play it, constantly, and I try to. I have this mode called Chaos Smash. It's a rule set. It's items. All items are on the highest frequency, and it has a random stage with stage hazards, and it's very chaotic. But of course, I had to turn some stages off because they just became too much for me.
Like which ones?
Mainly the bad ones. Like I eventually had to turn Hannibal off, but also Mario Brothers and 75M. And I eventually had to turn Summit off too because
What about Mega Man because of the Yellow Devil?
I think I turned that one off too. I also I turned off Summit because of the
Polar Bear.
Well, not because of Polar Bear, because of
the fish, the big fish.
how slippery it is. Also, I turned off all the big ones like Great Cave Offensive and Palutena's Temple.
Okay.
And I just think the DLC characters of Smash Ultimate have been really satisfactory. I used to give Terry a perfect score, but I think I have to. I think I've changed my mind about that because he, the hype kind of wore off. But
I do like fun, though.
I do like the stage the stage he has. My brother likes the stage a lot. Like we would, until when I was over at my other brother's house for Thanksgiving, we would just play on that stage just for like multiple games in a row, because he felt it was the best stage for his type of gameplay, because he hates how I edgeguard him. And so like he likes the stage. And also I just like the sheer number of music tracks on that stage.
Yeah, 50 is insane, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, but now having like 30 plus tracks for Phantasy Star Online, just for one game in my brainstorm for a PSO stage, it does not seem so insane anymore.
Yep.
Because I really like PSO, as I don't want to give anything away, but so like I like. Now I wanted to talk about this in this episode, but we had other plans. But I firmly believe Shantae might, has a very good chance of being the next DLC character of Smash, just because of various things that are lining up.
I want you to be right, but I don't want to get my hopes up because I already did that before. But man, I hope you're right.
I hope I'm right too. But like if Shantae got in the Smash Ultimate in like in 2020, the game would automatically get to the number one. You would automatically jump to number 1 in 2020 just because of that.
Yeah.
Because that would be like a dream come true.
Yeah.
The other dream that would come true would be PSO Phantasy Star Online representation, because that's literally my favorite game of all time. So I would love that. But
you never know, man. We don't have an MMO rep, so hey.
But in terms like of the DLC characters, in the current DLC characters in Smash Ultimate, I really like them. I used to main Hero, now I main Pichu, because I realized that I actually still have it with Pichu.
Okay.
I used to main Pichu back in the day, and then they nerfed him. And then I stopped maining him because I thought he was bad. But then I played him randomly.
Yeah, they made him better.
Like a couple weeks ago, and I realized, hey, I still have the sauce with Pichu. And
Still
like
got that sauce.
I was just comboing CPUs like crazy, and like my favorite combo is up tilt to up air, and then like neutral air or whatever. I love that combo. It just looks so cool.
Nice.
But I just think Smash Ultimate is just the best of the best game that came out last year, and the fact that it still has all this support that is going to be coming up is great.
Yeah.
And I have this theory that the last Fighters Pass character will come out January 30. January 30, whatever the last day of January is. I think January 30th, because that's when Piranha Plant came out. But that's a topic for another time, and I'm going to let somebody else talk.
So we got like 10 minutes. So let's each try to give the next game like a max of 1 minute or 1.5. Let's just like shoot them off. So
good.
sorry to cut your number 2 down, Nint. But
That's
Or let him.
because I have kind of a lot to say about.
So
Okay,
see,
so for
he
you-
can talk. I'll just
Okay.
talk briefly about my number 1, and then I'll
all right,
head
then
out.
that's what we'll
Well,
do.
how about Alpha go first? You can go first.
No, you can go ahead.
Well,
I
you
can
gotta do
wait.
your number 2, and then we all gotta do our number 1.
Yeah.
So you do your number 2, and then our number 1s will just do like a minute.
All right. So my number 2 is New Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh,
I want to play that.
okay.
Yeah. Similar with Spyro, if you love open world games, you'll immediately love this game. Like, I love Super Mario 64, and I love Spyro, and I love Banjo, so immediately this game really hit right at home. When I played the demo, I loved the crap out of it. It was so much fun. I love Lucky. The music is great. The graphics are awesome. There's just so much flow, and I can tell there's a lot of quality put into it. And speaking of Banjo, you know how the characters talk in Banjo? That style is in this game, and I absolutely love it. especially with the cat villains. I love it so much. My favorite is probably Tess, simply because of how she talks. The things she says are just hilarious.
Sorry about that alarm clock thing. I was just testing something, and then I didn't realize it was loud. So sorry about that.
Yeah, she says things like "meowa" or "possum." I just cracked up. It was so funny. I, of course, haven't beaten it yet, but so far I'm absolutely loving it.
So is it a platformer? Is it a collectible, a collectathon, or is it like what kind of genre? I guess is it?
Interesting question. It's actually kind of a bit of both. Like there's 3D levels, but there's also 2D levels. It's like a mixture of both. And each level has four pages or clovers. You get one for beating the level, one for collecting 300 coins, one secret page, and one for collecting letters in Lucky's name.
Neat.
And in the hub world, there's also other areas that's kind of like a mini game or a puzzle to get another page.
Oh, neat.
And that is yet another game on my radar once it goes on
Yeah,
sale.
I'd like to play that too.
Because I'm the cheapskate.
Yeah, I'm actually tempted to put Lucky at number 1, but I've kind of have an attachment with number 1 that it's kind of difficult, but Lucky's Tale's a great time, and I'm loving it a lot. If you love open games, please get it. Especially, I want, just like with Galaxy Trail, I want Playful to be really successful, because I can tell that they put a lot of time and effort into New Super Lucky's Tale, and I love them for that. They deserve a lot of credit.
Nice.
Cool.
So just like with Freedom Planet, I really want you to play New Super Lucky's Tale.
And we should probably move on to the number 1s now.
So what we'll do is, if anybody has any honorable mentions, just list them without going into any details. Then I'm gonna set a minute timer on my phone, which is why you heard that alarm go off, because I wanted to test it. This way we know for sure we're at a minute. So we'll just have like a minute to talk about our number 1 game. So my runner-up and my honorable mentions are Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution, Pokemon Masters, Dragon Quest 1 through 6 because I played them this year, and Blasphemous, which is what I mentioned in our what we've been up to. And if I was gonna add the Dragon Quest games because I played them this year, I think Dragon Quest 3 would have been my number one. But so I'm gonna set the timer now to discuss my number one. Hit start, and my number one is Kingdom Hearts 3, and we've already really discussed it. But I really love the wrap up that we got. But at the same time, it did feel a little anticlimactic in some areas. But at the same time, I liked the actual ending of what happened to things to wrap it up. But I kind of was I was a little unsure of the pacing. I'm not quite sure exactly why I felt a little anticlimactic about it. I loved the ending to certain characters like the trio of Birth by Sleep that you mentioned. Terra Xehanort has been one of my favorite villains, and I loved the revelations we got with him and whatnot. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 was really good, and I can't wait for the DLC because I want to see if it addresses some of the issues that people have been complaining about. And I got 3 seconds left, so that's pretty much it. Alpha, right. How about you? Any honorable mentions?
I do have to say that I left Super Smash Bros. Ultimate out of this list because I listed it on my 2018 games. I didn't think that was fair, so I excluded it. So it's technically an honorable mention because it's Smash Bros. Duh. Downwell was a fun game this year that I played. Also recommended by my buddy Nit right there. It's a fun game. It's cute. Little tough, little challenging, but it is fun. It is cool. Definitely unique. And I really haven't played that many new games this year. I got Double Cross and started that, and honestly, it was kind of disappointing. Pokemon Go is kind of like it's just a mobile game. But Disney Emoji Blitz is also a fun mobile game, so I guess those are honorable mentions too. So, but now for number one, Hollow Knight.
And starting the timer.
I love this game so much. There are a few games that I pick up and play, and I'm like, I want to keep playing this game for a long, long time. And I have not touched the game since about May or June, since I pretty much wrapped up everything but the actual ending. I got the bad ending. But man, the world is so immersive and dark and creepy, and it's all 2D hand-drawn animation, and then there's the Grub side quest, and there's the DLC editions, and it's just the characters and the ambiance. And
30 seconds.
It's creepy, but it's cool, and it's tough, but it's fair, and it's just, there's so much that challenges you, and yet it's just a great game. If you have not played Hollow Knight, I highly recommend it. It is just such a great game. It's such a fun ride. It's a tough ride, but man, it is just a beautiful, cool, gorgeous, awesome, fun, creepy, scary, yet exciting game. All right.
Oh, and that's time.
Really wanted to play Hollow Knight.
That's a game I want to play too, yeah.
I wanted to play Hollow Knight until a certain white light monkey kind of killed the type for me.
Alright, so I'm going to list some of my honorable mentions, and I hope you don't mind that one of my honorable mentions is a game that I actually have not actually played.
Okay.
But I still like it because I watched a playthrough of it, so...
Okay.
So, my honorable mentions are Mario Odyssey. It's the reason it's an honorable mention. I didn't really play it that much this year. I played it mostly last year because I got my Switch with my birthday.
Nice.
And it had Mario Odyssey with it, so I played it mostly last year. And my another honorable mention is Persona 5, which I actually haven't played. But I like it enough that I think it is one of my favorite games. And I'm certainly going to pick up Persona 5 Scramble. So, so about you can start the timer now, about my number one. My number one is, you probably saw this coming, Phantasy Star Online.
I saw that.
Shocker.
There's, the version I'm playing is called Blue Burst. It's a PC version, and it came out in 2004. And I'm playing on a fan server, and it's really nice, and the people are really nice, and they are understanding. You can play with them a lot, and you can basically
30 seconds.
Some of them were giving me life advice, so I was really happy about that because they're like all way older than me, so I'm the only one my age. But like in general, the game is very nostalgic for me, and I love the gameplay. I just think the dungeon system works very well for that kind of game, and you all should play it. There is a link in my Twitter because I actually dropped the link to the download in my Twitter, so you could choose to all play on the fan server. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Sweet. And just to if anybody cares, a lot of these games I feel like we discussed throughout the year. So if anybody wants more information on our thoughts, they can check out the topics in the descriptions of the episodes. And if that game is in the description, chances are we've talked a lot about it. So you get more in depth on them. So sorry that we're doing like a minute of these, but we've been running for a lot longer than we planned.
Particularly me about PSO. I talk about that a lot.
Exactly.
And Persona 5.
So Nint, you got any honorable mentions before your number one game?
Okay, my honorable mentions are Trials Rising, Super Kirby Clash, and no, this game wasn't in my top 10, but because you guys talked about games that didn't come out in 2019, I decided to go ahead and mention it as well. Similar to how Alpha loves Disney Emoji Blitz, Disney Heroes Battle Mode.
Yeah.
It's so much. It is so much fun. It's like Pokemon mixed with Smash Brothers, and because personally Pokemon Sword and Shield and Smash Ultimate really angered and disappointed me, this game kind of fills in the gap that those games created for me. And like Smash Ultimate, it's getting tons of new characters, free new characters might I add, and it's just a lot of good fun. And if you don't like paying for microtransactions, this is also a good mobile game for you.
Nice.
Okay, you can start the timer. I'm going to try really hard to talk. Okay, my number one is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. There's tons of characters, the story is fun, there's also a lot of content through Infinity Trials, the voice acting's great. Some may disagree about the music, but I personally love the music, and this game is getting DLC, free and paid DLC. They recently released a new pack a few days before Christmas, actually, which is awesome.
30 seconds.
And I recently finally am able to get the expansion pass so I can play it. And hands down, if you love Marvel, please get this game. You will enjoy it. There's so many characters, so much to do. And if you love those beat-em-up, team-based games, you will have a very good time.
That's it? Wow.
Yeah. I have a lot
fast
to say in this game, but I was pressed for time. Tried to get everything I wanted to say in 10 minutes, so sorry if I sounded rushed.
No, that's fine. And if it's something you're still playing, next time we have an episode that you're on, you can elaborate more, I guess. I know that Alpha needed to leave like a few minutes ago, the latest, so that's why I was rushing this. So, but yeah, I guess that's it for 2019. Wow. I don't know if we're gonna record next week because it is the new year and we're probably gonna be busy. Potentially the end of the week, I don't know. It seems like schedule's been up in the air and chaotic, so I'm hoping we'll get to a point where we're on a schedule again like we used to be. So anybody any last things to say?
Just want to say Happy New Year!
Exactly.
Because we'll probably see you in the new year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys, and we'll see you next year.
Go for PSO.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I got a Rick Astley CD.
And you're never gonna give it up, are you?
No.
Probably
Oh
not.
my god!